Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 11. And this morning I was talking to somebody in class about hormones and fat loss. And is there any concern with like a hormone profile? Doesn't this play a part in your fat loss? And certainly it does. And in particular, when we're looking at the hormone, thyroid hormone, which actually I was going to talk a little bit about today, my next topic. If you have a hypothyroid, and if you have if your thyroid is significantly hypo, it's going to play a major problem in fat loss, because this is the master regulator of essentially your BMR. So this would be something to be of concern of. Now, not very many people have this issue, but there are some people that do. In fact, somebody in our previous challenge had this issue. It was known before this person came into the challenge. So hormones will play a role, but I think this person was particularly talking about androgynous hormones, sex hormones, perhaps some of our sugar hormones like cortisol and insulin. And these will play a part, but it's going to be very, very small. So I'll talk about this in a future video, just in case any of you were wondering about it. But today, I want to talk to you about why, well, the topic is why we need dietary carbohydrates, but we don't need them. We can easily survive without them and be healthy. But why I'm going to say we need them, or why, I'm going to go away from need actually, why they are helpful in sustainability when it comes to diet. Okay, now obviously the obvious is we have the more foods we include, the more variety we get. This is going to help with sustainability. The more you restrict yourself, the more you cut yourself off, the harder it's going to be. So we want to keep in as many foods as possible. So this would be the number one reason. Okay, we want to have as much variety as possible. And I didn't even write that in my notes. Oh, I did write it in my notes actually. It's just not number one, but I would call that number one. Okay, number two, I just spoke about it actually. Thyroid health. Carbohydrates are, well, what we tend to see is when people cut out carbohydrates, we tend to see a slight decrease in thyroid activity, thyroid hormone production. So we see a little bit of difference in the BMR. So another reason to eat carbohydrates. And before I move further, I want to just say that, there are essential fats that we have to get through our diet to keep us healthy. There are essential proteins that we need to get, essential amino acids that we need to get through our diet to keep us healthy. There are no such thing as essential carbohydrates. So we can survive without carbohydrates. But there are some aspects of carbohydrates that are hard to get through other foods, like fiber and phytonutrients. We'll talk about that in one sec. Okay, number three. Carbohydrates are the most calorie sparse food. Generally speaking, when we're talking about real whole foods, generally speaking, these are going to be the most calorie sparse foods. They're going to be the most voluminous. They're going to have the most water. I say generally speaking. So when we're looking at especially things like vegetables and fruit, we are getting a lot of volume and not a lot of calories for the amount of food that we're getting. And this is a bonus. Number four, variety, as I just mentioned in the beginning. It's very, very important to get that variety, because as I mentioned, the more choices you have, the easier a diet will be, I think. That doesn't make sense to me that you would cut out things and that would make it easier for you. Right? The more choice you have, the better. Number six, well, this maybe isn't a reason to have it or not have it, but carbohydrates tend to have about a 6 to 8% thermic effect. So 6 to 8% of the calories, or you could look at it this way, 6 to 8% of the calories that you're getting from a carbohydrate source goes towards digesting it. All right, so if you're having 100 calories worth of carbohydrates, you're expending 6 to 8 calories digesting that amount of food. Number 7, I touched upon this, phytonutrients. There's some great phytonutrients along with vitamins and minerals, of course. There are things like resveratrol and lycopene and lutein and isoflavonoids, etc. These different antioxidants that are really supposedly health promoting. They appear to be health promoting. We're always learning new things, so they appear to be health promoting. All of these have different health promoting properties, which we'll talk about in the future. Number 8, fiber. Right, now there's some argument out there that we don't need fiber, but I would argue that I think we do. And there are some fibers, particularly things like insoluble starch, that are required for the health of your gut, okay, for your gut microbiome, but also just for the sake of regulating food intake as well. So fiber is, again, one of those modulators of sugar intake. That is, with more fiber will come slower input of sugar into the bloodstream, and this is great because this helps with insulin sensitivity. This helps with pancreas health. This is something that is super important because when we lose the health of our pancreas, or when we become highly insulin insensitive, that is, we have to produce a lot of insulin in order for sugar to be transported around the body, in order for sugar to get out of the bloodstream. This essentially leads to type 2 diabetes. Okay, and this is a very fast growing lifestyle based, of course, disease can be totally mitigated through lifestyle, 100%. Okay, all right, let's get to the message of the day. And today's message is: you get back exactly what you put in. You get back exactly what you put in. Now, this may not seem totally fair because, maybe genetics play a role, or maybe your gut microbiome is different than somebody else's, and this will play a part a little bit in your calorie absorption or etc. But generally speaking, these are very specific, nuanced topics. But generally speaking, you get back exactly what you put in. If you put the effort in, it will show. If you put the effort in, it will show. And as I spoke about yesterday, just a reminder, it's all about the long game, and it's all about continuing to try. I see this time and time again, especially when I've gone to some of these functions, wherever, a lot of them are in the States, these business functions, or I follow, maybe some of you follow different entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, or even if you look at, past discoverers of things or inventors of things, they keep trying at whatever they're trying to achieve, whether it's the invention of a light bulb or whatnot, or it's the Henry Ford trying to get his vehicle company going. It doesn't matter how many times these people fail, they keep going. And Elon Musk actually talks about this, and he has there's no emotion attached to it. It's just it just is. And then it's what do I want? I want to get from A to B. Okay, so I'm going to get to A to B. Whatever happens in between is irrelevant to me. It doesn't affect me emotionally. Okay, I'm not talking about me. Of course it affects me emotionally. But it's a very interesting, not to go off on another topic here, but, I think there is a lot of benefit to especially stuff like this, to removing the emotion out of it, to being more stoic about it. And, just coming back to what Elon said, he literally will go through, and it it's like he knows there is a solution. There is a solution. The solution lies somewhere. So it's just a matter of finding it. And so he just keeps going. He knows he's going to encounter all these obstacles, and he knows it could be thousands of them, but he just keeps going. And this is really, 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 really important. And I believe it's probably, arguably, maybe the number one reason why people fail at things. They stop trying. I think that's probably the reason why most people fail at things. And I'm failing at this video because I'm already 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop right now, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe yourself for the love of God. Give some gratitude, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow. See you guys.